to be alive. I am so grateful for everyone engaging on that last video that I posted. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for sounding off in the comment section as well. I really appreciate it. And that's actually why I'm here. One of the comments that I just engaged with really made me think about so many things. And so I just want to say thank you to the person who was in the comment section asking for more clarity. Just thank you. Again, I really benefit so much from people communicating with me. And so if folks are feeling safe to share something that they want more information on, or they want to talk about something that I said, I am appreciative of that because I do say a lot of things. And there are definitely times where I would love to go back and expound more on something. So just thank you again for that opportunity. With that being said, the person was reaching out, and at some point in the comment, and I'm addressing more deeply a comment that I commented back to very deeply, but I wanted to come here and just add like a vocal companion to the comment. And if you didn't see the last podcast, we were talking about how Laverne Cox went on a podcast called Olay and Friends. And the podcast was a lot. We listened to some of it in the Discord last night. I actually ended up falling asleep, which is unfortunate. But I did finish it. I did watch all of it, and I have been trying to pour into the other content. This is not what this video is about. This video is not me continuing to talk about the Laverne Cox thing that happened with Olay and Friends. This is me addressing a comment in the comment section from the last video. So if you don't know what happened in the comment section, for the most part, people were very appreciative of the video. But there was someone who said something that really had me thinking more deeply. And I want to just hold in real time that, like, when I said that nobody black owes anyone love, I want to say it again, because I feel like when people ask us mixed people where our black partner is, I feel like it's extremely tone deaf, because it's not that I'm not dating black men at this point because they're not available. It's more that many of them have shared with me what they think a relationship should be like, and I have not been interested. And I'd like to share some of those things with you here today, because I had a reminder float into my mind. There's a creator named Cindy Noir, Cindynoir, and I didn't say her name when I made a video about this before, but she had made some content about men like not treating women right and just really being so vocal and outspoken. It was really beautiful. But I remember, like, very shortly after, like, one video in particular like went viral, a bunch of men must have contacted her because she made a video that was so off brand that it made me go nuts in the comments. Like, not that I dragged her, but I was like, you could be meaner. I was like, stomp on them, go harder. Like, I felt like the comment section was very much women being like, I hear you, girl. I hear you, girl. What up, Ryan? But the spirit of her video was very much like, I might want a husband one day, and some men that watch me aren't really liking my content, and I'm kind of worried. And it was just like, dang, like, I don't know what that's like. I've not had any men reach out to me and be like, you're doing too much on us. And it made me think about how there are black women creators who have black male fans who control the fucking narrative, which is why I will not stand back and be silent in this moment. Because again, as I said, there are no black men that watch my content that aren't appreciative of it to the point where they sound off on me. And I'm not saying that there are no black men that have ever said anything to me. I'm not saying that. What I'm offering is that I have never felt the need to come up on here and be like, hey, I feel like I might be doing too much. Like, never. And again, it's the way that, like, the video was implying that, she's going to kind of back off of talking about men as much, but that like, you know, she made sure to let us know she wants to be married someday. And that really kind of made me sit with, at least today, that like there are women creating content and you won't get the whole story because they're afraid that there will be a man that will see their content. And I've literally only felt that when it comes to sex work. I've never been worried about any man finding my fucking content and not liking me. I don't care like that, but I have the privilege to not care like that. I have like, that's another layer to this. If I was only dating black men, my behavior might have to be different. And I want to hold that, like, there are some black women perhaps not being their full damn self. Marie, me too, bitch. Me too. It was soothing. It was a soothing combo, honestly. It's really fucked up, but maybe that's not fucked up. Maybe it's good that we got to rest. Maybe it's good that like we fell asleep amongst friends, you know? How often do we get a sleepover? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, we're adults. How often do we get to sleep over anybody's house? You feel me? So it's like it felt like we were all sleeping over together. I also feel like Sativa's voice is so soothing. Like every time they punched in, I was like, ooh. Like it just felt really good. I really hope Sativa creates more content because like honestly, like they were hosting so well last night. I loved it. But with that being said, like there was just so much unfolding. Also, Sierra, I hope you're in here. If you're not, I love you. Also, Sierra's birthday coming up. I don't know if folks in the chat really like celebrate birthdays like that, but I feel like we should care more. I feel like we be here all the time. We be like, yo, I slept good as fuck too, honestly. I woke up in a great mood, bitch, pepping my stephead ass. But yeah, no, I feel like again, there's so many regulars here, and I feel like we should get a birthday calendar together or something at this point, because I definitely want to just shout y'all out and remind y'all on y'all day, like, hey, we love you, and just shout it out. Because also, like, let's be real, most people are like, it's my birthday month. Like, let's be real, one day is not enough, and I love that. Anyways, getting back to what we were talking about though, there are black women who create content that, and they're worried about black men finding it and not wanting to be with them in the future. And so I want to be candid that like, that's never been my fear. And so I want to lift up that some of my sisters and siblings are there. Some of my sisters and siblings will not create content about men being trash, especially black men. And again, I'm understanding in ways that like because black cis men hit me up so regularly and because they've been so candid with me in ways, I realize that like there can be a lack of comfort in this conversation. And so I'm just trying to give a little bit of a trigger warning for anybody who doesn't want to hear about, you know, my candid thoughts on like black cis men and dating, desire, things of that nature. Because again, this person was, you know, making it seem as if I was trying to defend dating white men. And I feel like, here's my thing. I don't think anyone needs to do any damn thing. I feel like if you find someone that loves you and you love, that's beautiful. Very rare out here. And so when I see a black woman and a white man together, I'm grateful that I get to see a black woman smiling, period. I don't give a fuck who's standing next to her personally, but there are some people who do. And so it is in relation to the Ole and Friends. Just to reset the room, somebody left a comment on the last video, and I wanted to be candid that like I left a lot of replies, but I wanted to kind of like pull it all together in a video just in case, because I know I'm mostly an orator more than a texter. I'm not the best at texting or typing, but I'm really good, I feel, at communicating verbally, and so that's what I'm going to focus on. And so the comment was basically making the assertion that I was in the last video, asserting that like I'm not sure completely, to be real with you, but I'm gonna try to piece together what I heard from the comment. What I heard from the comment was that I was defending dating white people. Of course, Ryan, of course. Thank you for asking. I'm glad I got to reset. Yeah, they were asserting that I was seemingly defending dating white people. They were asserting that I was that I didn't realize that while race is a social construct, there there is material harm happening as well. And so it seemed as if they were asserting that I was oversimplifying race at some point. And so I'm hoping to like just try to illustrate my thought process in my last video, because again, I don't think I know everything and I don't think I'm right. And I'm not even trying to be right. I'm just trying to share. And I also want to hold that sometimes what people share can be uncomfortable. We can hear something very true and it can hurt. We can hear something very true and it can hurt very much. And so again, I want us to hold that you being triggered is not a problem. How you move next could be. And so I just want us to consider that like getting triggered by something, feeling hit by something. And again, when I watched Olay and Friends, I saw the triggered moment in real time. I saw the way that Quay kind of, was taken aback. And again, it's the ways that I think when you're dating somebody white, I don't think I want us to just hold that there's not much you can do other than hold that white supremacy is real and don't trust white people. Like, I feel like my politics don't change because I'm fucking with somebody white, but some people do assume that. So that's what that's the context of my replies were that like do y'all ever notice that people will think that they see two black people together and be like, that's great, and anything that happens from that relationship, I'm gonna support it. That way that people automatically go into supporting people because they are with someone black is fascinating as fuck, because me and my friends talk about like Barack Obama and Michelle Obama and who was really president. And it was really interesting to think about because, again, it's the way people really still yearn and miss Barry in this way that was like, did y'all really miss Barry? Or did you miss the White House seeming like it had prestige again in a way that it wasn't before because all these ugly ass white people being racist? It's like, did we prefer the anti-blackness of Barry versus white people? Clearly did. But again, it's the way that right after Biden, it's very much like, we'll take what we can get, desperate scarcity. And so again, with that being said, like, getting back to my point, people will see you dating somebody non-black as a person with black ancestry and assume you don't like yourself. And it's awkward because, again, I think that it says a lot. I think it says a lot when like some of us know that there are some black men who are looking for a woman to be a caretaker. And so it's like, it's like that conversation doesn't include that critique. Do we notice that the convo about black love and finding a black man, it doesn't also include finding a black man that's not trying to use you as a resource in a particular way. That is very common. That is unfortunately very much on par. And I want people to hold that, like, while I do note that black men reach out to me a lot in terms of like, hey, and I want to fuck. They're not, when I say like reach out like genuinely, it's not that. Like, I feel like that's what I'm trying to explain. Black men reach out to me in the middle of the night to figure out where the good chicken spot is. Swear. Motherfuckers be asking me where the good food is at. Swear. They're not on dating apps. Not saying, hey, beautiful, hey. Some of them may. But again, at this blush in my life where I wear my natural hair out and I don't hide it, it's just very fascinating how I'm homegirl. It's very fascinating how I'm homegirl. And again, it's the way that they're asking me to go on a blunt ride. They're asking me if I want to be in a polyamorous marriage and a polyamorous marriage where I am one of 20 and have multiple children and live in a compound. These are things that black men are offering me in terms of connection. So I want to be candid that, like, even when folks are like talking about black men reaching out to them, it's not for what y'all are talking about. And I wish y'all would consider that before you bring that up. Because again, it's the way that like trauma that happens to the most marginalized is never really thought about too deeply because other people aren't being hit by it. And so if you have found black love, you're not being hit by these questions. But if you haven't, it's the way that people think it's okay to badger you and bother you as if you're showing them that you don't really love black people because you're not with a black man. And at no point do they hold like the hurt that you may actually have from the lack of support black men have offered you that you assumed would be there. Again, I don't want to be a tragical mixed person with a black father that wasn't there, but I am. And so again, how black men have treated me and treat me now are very much a lock in step. It has not changed. I want to name that, like, there have been a handful of black men that seemingly took me seriously, but when they saw me dating white men, they were turned off. So I want to be candid that even dating white people will lock you out of black love. So it makes sense why some people defend it, because let you fuck up and fuck someone not black. Now you're marked. I'm talking because people need to hear shit like this, because it's not fair that somebody has to hold their dating standards to a certain degree. Meanwhile, no one else is being held like that. It's the way that at this point people are holding that, like, black men dating out is whatever, but people are hyper focused on black women right now. And it's like, why is that? And then I'm also noticing black women saying, if I have a baby with any race of man, that baby is black. And it's like, oh wow, the one drop rule is switching sides. Oh shit. That makes sense why the black mama biracial conversation's happening. Now I see it. Now I see the whole board. Now I see the whole board, bitch. Because I was like, why are they going so hard to make it seem like a black woman coochie is going to carry the right biracial? And I'm like, oh, they just switching they putting the shoe on the other foot. Okay. Listen, it's triggering conversations. I'm not trying to like act like, oh my God, like care so much, but somebody cares. Somebody cares that they're being fucking held to a certain standard and other folks are not. And so again, I hope that folks can hold that, like, I didn't read this in no fucking book. I had to listen to black people talk candidly. That's what a lot of folks don't want to hold, that, like, the ways that some people attack black people, they're attacking the people who are carrying so much intelligence. And I really hope that we hold that, like, it's never wrong to say, hey, can I ask more questions? I love how that person came at me. Thank you for taking a chance to ask me more questions and push back. Again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm dating the best white people. I don't think I ever said that shit. But when worse white people showed up, they did what they needed to do, and I appreciated that. Am I trying to make it seem like you should date somebody white? Fuck no. I don't feel like you should date anybody that's not respecting you, loving you, supporting you, treating you good. But did it take time to get there? Sure did. And so I'm not about to shame you if you're not there yet either. Good God. I ain't no motherfucker. Like, bitch, after all this time, I'm not about to do you like that. Because again, people have expectation on black people to do all types of things. I've learned, unfortunately, and it's the way that I've made enough mistakes to figure out I didn't make a mistake. I'm so grateful to realize that I didn't do anything wrong, bitch. I was living life and motherfuckers were projecting on me. Like, I'm grateful as fuck, because it's the, again, as I said in my comments, it's the way motherfuckers will look and see who you're with and just know who you are now. And again, as much as I used to definitely think that black men dating white women was weird to me, I'm at the point now where I'm gonna hold that there are all types of reasons why somebody is with somebody else, and I'll never really know. I'll never really know. I can make all types of assumptions, but unless I'm right up under their nose, sitting up there watching their asses, no. But I've lived long enough to know that a lot of connections are like transactional, capitalistic, based on desire politics that are unfortunately unquestioned. And I feel like that's another layer too, is like, have I questioned dating white people? Not really, because I wasn't looking for anybody white. When I swipe on people, I feel like unless I see has kids, I swipe. Especially if they're sexy as fuck. I feel like between me and you, I don't even look at people that often when I swipe. I'm just swiping with abandon a lot of times. That's how much I don't care. I want to see who out there. I want to see who swiped on me. That's really how I swipe. I'm like, who swiped on me? I'm swiping on everybody. If you swiped on me, cute. If you didn't swipe on me, I don't care. Because I'll again, who knows where a conversation could lead. I also feel like I'm open to friendship more than romantic love. So I feel like I'm not dating the same way as everybody else. Like, I'm not dating for marriage. I feel like that's another layer too. So And again, I feel like there are a lot of black women who are naming like they're dating for marriage. And so, you know, and to be a wife these days, you got to act a certain way, right? You don't think that's what I meant? I think, especially when it comes to black women, we're policed so much when it comes to dating and seemingly not allowed to have options and to go where the love is. There's a lot of made mattress muling people want to see happening. Ooh, okay. I'd be afraid to introduce my white husband sometimes. Thank you for this convo. Listen, hear me out. If you're being loved, I'm glad. Like that's that on that. And bitch, even if you're not being loved and you there until, the first of the month, whatever the fucking case may be, like I will never judge any femme because I just feel like I'm at a point in realizing that men will lie about anything. They'll lie about anything, bitch. They'll lie about any motherfucking thing. And you could really be out here already invested in somebody and it's not going the way you want it to. Now everybody know that you're not getting like I just feel like, bitch, I done been in so many relationships before and publicly been having to get the fuck up out of them shits. And again, it's the way people will see a public breakup and really have all these motherfucking think pieces. And it's like, bitch, you was not there. But they be piecing together little bits and pieces to make a story that sounds good to them. Again, nobody really knows what's going on in your bedroom. But I think it's fascinating that people think that the answer is shaming folks for not having black partners, especially black people, but not just black people. And again, it almost feels like people are expecting because of my politics for me to find someone who is also black. But I want you to just consider this. I want you to consider this. If somebody black were to find me attractive and were wanting to be with me, don't you think they might reconsider just based off the fact that they might want kids? Like, I feel like that's another layer to this. There are a lot of black people who want a long lineage. I don't want to put nobody out on this earth. Like, there are a lot of black folks who want to raise kids. We have to talk about that layer of this too. There are so many men of color, but I'm speaking specifically about black men that have told me within moments of communication, they want to have kids. My profile says, no kids, don't want kids. So right then and there, there's a failure to pay attention to my desires that were offered before we spoke. That turns me the fuck off. If I go out of my way to say I don't want no fucking kids, why the fuck are you telling me we'd make pretty babies? That doesn't matter to me. Then it's the way that I'm a bitch and a hoe because I'm telling this man, hey, you're not really paying attention to what my profile says. And as I said, I just be swiping. So I never know what the convo gonna be about. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. I don't even go out of my way to swipe on any particular person. I swipe on everybody because I've just decided who knows who's out there for me. I might not know a good person for me. And so I'm swiping, swiping, swiping. And then what do I see? Oh, I got a message. Oh, it's a man at 2 o'clock in the morning talking about where's the best chicken spot in the city. I'm not trying to be funny, but it's giving, Annie, will you fry this fish for everybody at the party? It's giving that. It's giving, where can I take the bitch I like? Where can I take Hey Beautiful? Where can I take Hey Beautiful? So let's just leave people alone. That's where I'm at personally. Let's leave people alone because I feel like what people don't want to hear is this conversation. They don't want to hear this one where I'm asking them, okay, so you see somebody with a black partner. Now, what do you think? And then you got to acknowledge that you have all these projections now that you see somebody black being loved. Let's acknowledge that. Let's hold that because that seems like it could be weaponized against you. And so I want to just hold that in real time that there are people with black partners and it doesn't mean anything to them. There are some black folks that honestly are trying to dismantle blackness within. And I feel like that's a different convo, but I'm not going to go too long into it. But it's a lot of black folks that are actually like not invested in the concept of blackness. And I know some folks are not interested in hearing that, but it's the truth. Like all these words, all these ways of describing, there are so many Afro-surrealist, Afro-pessimistic, Afro anarchist thoughts that I hope folks get into, because there are so many Black people out there and we don't know them all. And we probably will never get to. And I hope that we stop broadening this idea of what we think about Black people, especially when it flattens them and dehumanizes them. Let's consider how we're talking, because some people, I hate to say this, they think the opposite of oppression is automatically liberation. And it's not. It's really not. And so assuming that like you need to tell someone who they should be looking at more, I don't think that's what we need to do. Should we be decolonizing beauty and desire? Sure. As I said, I see people all the time that I think look redacted, and I try to ask myself, what is it about them? What am I really saying? What am I really talking about? Those are personal things that no one else can perform for you. Like, you actually have to sit there and ask yourself, what is ugly about this or that thing? Why are you not interested? But I just feel like publicly it felt like, again, it felt like they wanted Laverne to defend why she was with a white person or condemn it. And it was awkward because I feel like when you're dating someone, I think, I don't know, and I feel like it's a complex conversation, but I think some people really are not interested in the nuance, and that's okay. I just like, that's where I'm at. I feel like some people will think that I'm fighting to be with white people, and I think I'm more fighting for autonomy, and I feel like people don't want to hear that aspect of it, that like, I don't owe you anything and neither does anyone Black. I don't owe you love. I don't owe anyone love. I owe no one love but myself. And it's the way that, like, let's be real. Like, I feel like I bring up Barack Obama because it's like he was not becoming president with a white woman. He wasn't. And Kamala with her white husband, I'm not going to say that's why she lost, but that didn't help her. It didn't help her. And everybody fighting to include her in Blackness, that didn't help her either. Again, it's the ways that, like, it's awkward, but it's the way that people fought for Barack Obama to be Black, like in this way that nobody fought for Kamala. I'm not saying nobody was like pushing back. I'm just saying that the fight was very bizarre. And again, it was bizarre in this way that I didn't notice about Barack Obama. In fact, I feel like Barack Obama's presidency was also part of like me assuming like we are Black people, no matter what. Like, between me and you, Barack Obama actually was a psyop for mixed people, that no matter what, you're Black. And I feel like, again, if you're triggered in this moment, I'm sorry, genuinely. But we have to pay attention when we see mixed people on TV because we're there for a reason. Like, Barack Obama was there to put a beige face on fucking the concentration camp that's been here. And now you can't not see it. And again, I know some people are really protective of Barack, but why? I really want y'all to really think about why you're protective of Barack. I really want that so bad. Because if people really interrogated it, they would actually acknowledge that it was the anti-Blackness, not Barack. It was the psychological operation of seeing somebody exist as the Black person be attacked by whiteness. That does endear us mixed people to some Black people. Some Black people will really pity us. And I know that pity sounds mean, but I feel like we have to acknowledge the ways that some Black people are being psychologically, energetically vampired on. Like, that's part of this. Like, it's the way that whole thing with him and Donald Trump was just a motherfucking gear up to, like, honestly, I see it all so differently now because I realized, like, Trump wanted people to know he was willing to fight for whiteness. Meanwhile, what's Barack fighting for? Being Black with a Black wife and a whole white mama that don't exist, Black father that don't exist. Like, no tea, no shade. And the way that you can have a father from the African diaspora and like he's not really around to be there with for you. He's not really caring for you in the ways that you need. Again, it's the ways that like I don't feel like this is a conversation to have right now. But it's the way that when brown children are with white people, we are unprotected in a particular way. And there are very few elders that will talk about it because it's a touchy subject to tell white people you're not caring for someone correctly, especially when you're non-white. They do not want to hear correction, and they absolutely don't want to hear that you have some special ingredient to make their kid better than they can. God damn it. That's what they hear, bitch. That's what they hear. Special ingredient. You're better than me. That's all they hear. They don't hear the protection. They don't see a rose. They see the thorns. They see fear. They see pain. Again, I turn on my camera because some of us mixed people are getting ate the fuck up. And I'm aware at this point that there are some black people getting ate the fuck up in the same way, or not even some, most. And for some of us, we use that experience to validate our blackness. I'm not a black person, and yet anti-blackness does come from many angles. It's not just white people. And as I said, I'm more interested in how a white person sees whiteness unfolding for them. I'm more interested in white people who are curious about whiteness and the behavior. I am at a point where I realize whiteness is behavioral more than a look. I have behaved quite white in my life, and I don't want anyone to think for 1 minute that they're not seeing what they're seeing. We have words like Karen, but then people will be like Black Karen. No, it's white supremacy. It's whiteness. It's narcissism. It's so many layers. Anyone can embody it. The colonizer is not to be played with. The master is masterful, bitch. Fuck. Like, again, please hear me. Please hear me. Like, there are just so many psychological operations happening. It makes sense why people are fucking tired and just over it. It makes sense. It makes sense why you're fucking over it. It makes sense why you're triggered. It makes sense why you're angry. It makes sense why you're sad. It makes sense. Please do not gaslight yourself and make it seem like this is not that deep or it's fake woke. Please, 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 please don't gaslight yourself. You're not. People are expecting black people to do all types of things. Obviously, they're expecting black people to find black people and love them. They're expecting that, even though white supremacy is harming black people within and outside. And again, people will make it seem like it's a black woman's failure or even a mixed woman's failure that she doesn't have a black partner despite the fact that she's dismantling and decolonizing. It doesn't mean that my partners are doing the same. It doesn't mean that the people I want to be with are there. How many of us have met people and realized in the middle of the connection, ooh, you can't shift. You refuse to hear me. You're not going to grow. That's hard. But it's happened to all of us where we just realize, damn, and we might still try to stay. And what happens next? And so I'm hoping people know that like being in a relationship at this point is actually like somebody actually said it was a luxury. And I'm like, honestly, you're not wrong. Because you can actually financially destroy yourself getting into a relationship. And I don't want to be too dramatic because I feel like I've destroyed some people financially. I don't want to play. I feel like that last dude, I feel like as much as it's funny to me, just because again he brought Becky to the house trying to evict me himself, and whole time I had like 90 days on the eviction. So I was like, girlie, get the fuck out of here. So honestly, as far as he's concerned, I don't give a fuck. But I just feel like, yeah, like being close to someone intimately in any way could actually fuck you up. And so again, I don't want anyone to feel like they owe anybody no damn love to nobody. Bitch, owe yourself. Fuck. Pay that debt with you. Like, there are so many relationships that I was in, like, and I should not have been in them, but did I have the wisdom to know that? No. Did I have the, the friend group, the connection to elder? No. And so again, there are some people out here running around and they don't know what the fuck the right thing to do is. They don't know. And I don't want anyone black to feel like you have to be somebody elder or sage. Like, I feel like that's another layer to this too, is like, I think about how, and this is like off topic slightly, but I think about Sinners and I think about Annie and I think about how she told I can't remember if it was Smoke or Stack. Please don't be mad at me, bitch. I be really mixing these hoes up. My bad. But whatever one she was with, my bad. But she was basically talking about how you taught me how to fight. And it's like, that's very family. And I think it's almost like, I don't know. Hold on, so I have to cough. But I think about how, like, when people are talking about, like, how, where's your black man or where's your black partner, there's times where I wonder, like, are you really wondering, like, where is the black person to love me? Or are you asking me, like, where's the black person to exploit? Like, lowest of keys. Like, I really want people to just really question that desire to, like, tell people who they should be with or who they should be desiring. Because again, if you notice that someone is dating people and you think you see a pattern and you don't have the relationship to ask them about it, I think that's maybe a moment to ask yourself why you want to know more. What's happening for you? What are you thinking about them? People don't do that though. They think they see you with somebody white and you hate black people. And it's awkward because, again, I don't create the content I create for anything other than knowing that at some point none of us will be here, and the only thing that we leave behind is, like, the love. I don't know how many people are going to watch videos where I'm cussing Tess Holiday out for being a scammer, but the videos where I'm being loving, the videos where I'm being uplifting, the videos where I'm being curious and thoughtful, like, those videos will always be here, and they will probably be watched forever, and there will always be people that go back to them. And I'm grateful that I have created anything that anybody can go back to and feel anything uplifting, positive, hopeful. That feels great. But with that being said, if I know that all we're gonna have is what we I know that all we're gonna have when we leave. I'm sorry. I know that all we're leaving behind physically is the love that feels intangible. I have to really consider, like, what people are fucking really saying. Like, people really mean when they're expecting someone to do something or be with someone, or even, like, meddling in that aspect of their life. Like, in retrospect, I think it was actually a very emotional conversation that was unfortunately derailed. Like, Quay was derailing, sure, but I think it was deeper than just Quay, it was also the reality that, like, Laverne owes us nothing. Laverne could be beating white men in their basement and making racks. And what does that have to do with us? But again, I think about how when you reveal what you've done, where you've been, I think people can start to, again, draw conclusions on you and not consider that you're still here to do other stuff too. You're not going to just do that. But I think about people like Kanye West, and I think about how, like, people kept waiting for him to do other stuff. Like, people held a lot of space for him and a lot of grace for him in this way. Like, it's the way that, like, Kanye wasn't canceled by nobody getting with Kim Kardashian. It's the way that, like, getting with Kim Kardashian didn't stop nobody from listening to his music. But it's the way I've seen black women be canceled for all types of things. Just smear campaigns off of so much stuff that is not necessarily them failing us, but them making a poor choice that, like, maybe they can, like, transition from. Again, it's the way that, like, when I see harm in the community, it's the way people really do think black men can change, but black women can't. I've noticed that a lot. People hold so much space for black men to transition out of a behavior or an era, and let a black woman make a misstep. It is wild how swift her punishment comes. So I'm saying all this to say that there are going to be some people who don't want to hear this because it will vindicate people who have been told you're wrong a lot. And for no reason, honestly, other than to prop up other people as right. I just want to put that out there, that there's a reason why people quickly come at black women and they take their time and talk slowly with black men. There's a desire to project malice. I've seen the most insane takes. Like, this black woman comedian made a very, very poor joke. It was very much not funny. But the way people were saying, oh, I always knew something was off about her. What the fuck does that mean? Like, huh? She's a fucking celebrity who literally is very unknown, except for one big project that just came out. So it's like, how the fuck did you know something was up with her? Again, it's the ways that people project on Black people all types of ways. And so I want to hold that while sometimes people do project on me, I want to hold that like people do hold more space than not for me to be different, for me to be a different type of way. And I've even had people tell me like, "Oh, like you're a different type of mixed person, you're a different type of light skin." And it's like I'm really not. I'm just finally listening. Like I'm not trying to like make it seem like I'm not doing anything radical. I'm listening. It's like honestly the bare fucking minimum. And I'm hoping that folks realize like you can listen too. There are so many people I share, and I hope that you uplift them and you listen to what they have to offer. Because again, we live in a world that tells the like we live in a world that says I have so much more to offer than Black women. We do. We live in a world that says I have more to offer. The amount of offers I've been offered in terms of like being online and talking about Blackness, like it's wild in retrospect, but it's the ways that like people trusted my lens, despite the fact that I didn't have to prove anything. And so I want us to just hold that there are going to be people out there who are attempting to dismantle, to unlearn, to be unlearning, to be dismantling rather. And we're going to fail. We're going to come up short. We're going to be not where we need to be. And I'm hoping that people will hold that like this is an opportunity. This doesn't have to be a moment for us to disconnect, but some folks will disconnect. Some folks will say, you're with somebody white. Oh, nah. Like somebody will say, you fuck a white person, like you, whatever. And again, it's the way I've paid for being with white people. I've definitely paid. Like trusting white people has been dangerous. Like coming to that conclusion has been hilarious. But again, it's the ways that even though that is true, meeting my partner, meeting a white passing mixed person, being with them, and holding, that this might be a better partner for me than anybody else. That like someone who is mixed and can hold that, like, can hold the psychological attack that is race. That like people are always looking at him and me to understand what they should do next. And again, it's the ways that that moment is privilege, but it's also an opportunity to dig deeper. And I'm hoping folks hold that, like, while we do have privilege as lighter skinned people, mixed or not, anybody lighter than deep dark skin, I really feel like we should focus on that more because again, it's the way that Quay pulled up the paper bag. And it's awkward because that's not like the litmus, or rather that's not the test for if you're light skin. Light skin actually is anyone who's not deep dark skin. That is also why the term brown skin is being used so heavily to differentiate themselves between deep dark skin and light skin. So let's consider that there are layers to privilege. There are so many people who have privilege in pigmentocracy. If you are not the deepest, darkest shade, you are privileged in pigmentocracy. You may have less than someone else, but you're still privileged in ways. And so, with that being said, I want us to hold that there are going to be conversations that unfold, people that see other people and, are not, they're not Black people and they're in the room and we see how it unfolds. Quay is a clearly mixed person, but them aligning around Blackness, the way they wear their hair, sometimes like it definitely shows someone that has Black ancestry. And so they were tolerated in that room, but at what cost? Like consider that as well, that Quay was there, and they were one of a handful of light-skinned people. And just notice how when they caused harm, did anybody rush to say you owe them an apology? No. Everyone allowed that space to continue for hours. That's fucked up. And so with that being said, I want us to hold that there's layers to this conversation that's going to distress people. There's conversations that are going to trigger, and there are conversations that are going to anger. And I hope that we consider what we do next. Okay? You being angry is not the end. You being angry is actually the beginning. I hope that y'all have pen and paper with you. I hope that you have a way to write down your feelings and just what's going on with you. I hope you have some art or something to cook. Findhelp.org. If anybody needs a food pantry, findhelp.org. You can search many at once. Findhelp.org. You can find many organizations offering support, care, and aid. Marie, that's the other layer to this too, is like the colorism is actually a big part of what happened between Deshaun and Quay. And I'm only aware of that because of the ways that like Maya's World, Khadija Mbawe, Shakira Miriam, Praxis Poppy, Gervais. I'll post all of their links in the comments, but there are so many Black folks who have been outspoken about anti-Blackness and colorism to the point where I can at times notice more quickly when us lighter skinned people are getting away with something. And I'm not saying that I always see how we move. I would never say that. But in that moment, I acknowledge that, Deshaun was talking very slowly and measured and was trying to take their time. And it made me really think about how, like, as I said before, like, how often do you get to hold the mic? Like, when people are lighter skinned and create content, people really easily seemingly find us. But how often are we noticing that lighter skinned person handing the mic to someone deep dark skin, or even empowering that person to take the mic and for them to leave? And so with that being said, it was the way that like the whole time Quay was being extroverted. And so I don't think they were being more extroverted at any point. But I do think that when it came down to their back and forth with Deshaun, it really felt like the standards for Deshaun were very low. And it also felt like they weren't considering that they were one light-skinned voice in a mix of people. And while the deep dark skinned person was talking and was letting it be known that they wanted to be able to finish their points, and it was obvious from their behavior, like how slowly they were speaking, that they were trying to, articulate something very important. And so with that being said, I really hated how Quay thought I have to move quickly in this convo. But in retrospect, I also noticed that Quay was auditioning in ways for Laverne and trying to make Laverne laugh and trying to audition for a project that they're trying to create. Like, there were so many layers to why Quay was in the room. And so it's not lost on me that Quay was like doing a lot for capitalist benefit. And again, it's reminding me about Mary again from Hit Sinners and how Mary went out the juke joint to get the coins. It's the way that like the whole conflict was begat by capitalism, by greed, by desire to benefit from a conversation that, when you really think about it, has so many layers to it. Because again, I stumbled upon some information that has me just not sure what to do with it, and I want to bring it up because I found it, but I don't have any comments other than I found this information. But when I was watching the live with Laverne, I noticed like how white their face looked, and I went down the rabbit hole and in the rabbit hole with the comment section and started noticing people saying that Laverne used to be brown skin. And I just started to notice that like that became part of the conversation, that like Laverne has bleached. And so now this is adding to how, how much more punishment she deserves. And I hope people can hold that, like, when people are bleaching their skin, that's not a moment to dig. It's really not. And I really hope that we look into the harm of pigmentocracy versus shaming people for lightening their skin, instead of hating, or not even hating, instead of judging and shaming people for, putting on different textured hair. Let's just hold that, like, maybe that person's not ready to engage anti-Blackness on their fucking head. Like, let's hold that. Like, I wish we would hold that, like, maybe this Black person is traumatized. Wouldn't we speak so differently if we noticed trauma instead of self-hate? Wouldn't that be something? Again, I bring it up to say that, like, hearing that Laverne has bleached, hearing the way she spoke about the MAGA cop, hearing the way that like people told her like you weren't in love, I think it was a deeper, more emotional conversation than anybody had the range for. And lowest of keys, I think Deshaun had the range for it, but I think unfortunately because everybody like I don't want to say Deshaun was contrarian. I don't want to do that. What I want to say is Deshaun was living in a reality that Laverne is trying to leave, and I think that that's another layer to this. Is that like Deshaun's thoughts come from a lens of experiencing being the other in many ways, and so I want us to hold that like when the most marginalized is in the room, like there's a conversation that we can't have without them. And so again, it's the ways that like I noticed like the conversation trying to be had without them. And that's why it was all derailed in the end because no one else had the range. And I think that that's again another thing to come to as a lighter skinned person, that there are so many conversations where I just don't have the range, where like I can have all these thoughts and all these ideas. I don't have the range. I need to listen. I need to gather more information because there are so many counterpoints that are valid. And that's the other part of this, is that with white supremacy being such a multi-level attack on the body, on the mind, on the psyche of the Black person and everyone else, because we have to hold that anti-Blackness isn't just for Black people. We have to hold that anti-Blackness is actually the grounding of harm and trauma, that the intended is Black people. But at this stage in colonization, it is very clear this is connected to anti-Blackness. We cannot divorce it, because if we try to, what we'll notice is that that will be then the focus will shift on the least marginalized and what's happening. It's the way they want us to see all these white people crying. I don't care about them. I want us to focus on the people who have been asking for crowd funds. I want us to focus on the people that their needs weren't met before this shit went left. Please focus on the people who knew it was already bad. Please. I mean, Quay really didn't offer anything. Marie, you're not wrong, but I think that that's the part about being a lighter skinned person. And I don't want to do too much, but I just want to say, like, we can really be offering nothing. We can really just be a light skinned person in the room. And so, again, it's the way that they were sitting up there looking like, just banana Laffy Taffy. And that's all it took to be in the room. Because it's like, what? Like, I mean, then again, let me not do that. Let me say that, like, maybe that's not all it took. But let me also note that, like to put a panel together means that everybody want to talk about this. You know what I mean? Everybody want to talk about this. Or they have already talked about it. So I want to believe that Olay invited the people that had something to say. That's what I believe. I believe that Olay wanted to bring in people that had something to say. But I think that Quay wanted to promote more than they wanted to talk. And I think that's why they were willing to fight, because they didn't have anything to say. They came there to get money. They came there to promote. So the standards for them were very low. They don't care about what anyone else is talking about. When you're trying to get money, you're not listening. You're really not listening. You're trying to get money. And so I think that's why Quay came off the way they did, because again, that conversation was just so emotional and personal that it felt awkward in moments, because it's like Deshaun and the way they were communicating while it was pointed, it was valid. Again, I don't want to make it seem like there was never anyone of color that wants to date me. Like, that's not where I'm going with this. What I'm saying is that attraction is not linear. I don't think that we always like the same people. I think that there are some people that may have types, perhaps, but I think that if you really think about it, every relationship teaches us something different about ourselves, teaches us a lesson, teaches us so much. And so I'm really hoping that we start to look at it like that maybe that Black person had something to teach that white person and vice motherfucking versa. And I think that we should consider that on the individual level, that that's what some of these relationships are, is more than just an exchange of love, is an exchange of culture. That's part of being a mixed person, is that like some of us are in relationships with people and our cultures are not the same. My partner is Lakota. My partner is a part of a cultural history connected to America that I don't understand. And I'm still learning so much from them. The ways that like the Native people embrace white, black, anybody that wants to come to their events is fascinating to me. The way that they tolerate white people in their spaces at times, fascinating to me. Again, I'm really hoping that folks hold that like there are ways that we will see the world through different people's eyes. And I know that some people don't want to hear that shit. But I really hope that folks hold that there's not one black story to tell. And I want to leave you that way, that there are so many different black people. Blackness is not an indicator of anything other than phenotype. And at this point in colonization, we know that ain't true. So with that being said, please don't expect anyone black to be anything. Don't expect them to listen to anything in particular, to create any particular type of way. Let's take away the expectation on anybody black to be something. Like, let's take that away. And again, it's the way that like it's hard because of colonization. White supremacy really does ask black people to suffer, to be the one that saves the day, to be the one that helps, to be the resource, to be the chattel, bitch. So let's consider how we're operating. I don't think dating white people is the quote unquote right thing to do. I'm not interested in doing the right thing. What I'm doing with my pussy, what I'm doing romantically, I really don't owe you that, but it's the way that once you become famous, once you put yourself out there, people do think that your partners are a reflection of who you really are. And so again, if you're with someone that people think is shady, you're shady now. If you're with someone that people think is demonic, you're demonic now. And it's awkward as fuck because again, it's the way that for most of you, I'll never know who you really are. Even if your picture is a picture of you and your partner, what could I really take from that? But again, it's the way that people will see people walking through life with their oppressor, a man or a white man, and be like, I know something about you. And it's like, you really don't, but it's okay. Cause I really prefer for people that operate like that to reveal themselves. I love when they reveal themselves because I then get to have a conversation about why they think automatically somebody black owes me love. And maybe they'll start to see the ways that they too might think they owe somebody something. That's what I want from this combo. I want more folks to hold, I don't owe you a thing. I actually never did. And anyone that tells me I do, I know something about you. So please hold that. Whenever someone wants you to do something or be something or connect, why? Again, I'm not saying nobody black is worthy of love. I'm saying nobody black has to find me. Like, I think that's another layer to this too. Like, imagine somebody looking down on somebody black for not dating somebody like myself. Like, that's insane. But like, again, it happens. There are black people being looked at crazy for not getting a partner, especially when it comes down to colorism and the aspects of like so many black men fetishizing lighter skinned women, and also so many depictions on TV, in the movies, in advertisements that show a black cis man with a lighter skinned woman creating all different colors of children. And I want to just hold that while I don't think this may be the most helpful take, I hope people can hold. We've all had such a journey trying to find love or even just get some dick. And I wish we could talk about that shit candidly without ignoring that we are living within white supremacy. And so while there will be some people who are traumatized and coming from a traumatic place, there will be some of us who are attempting to hold that there are many truths. And I think that's the best thing. There's so many truths. So many things can be true at the same time. And I think that if more of us held that is more the case a lot of times, that more things are going on besides your perspective, a lot of shit would actually start to add up. That you may not have all the information, that you may be thinking that people are obtuse, but they're really just zoomed in on their own perspective. The more that you consider that you don't know, you start to ask, why? What? Who? When? The more you stop, and again, that's why we're in Age of Aquarius, friends. It's a pivotal moment because in Age of Pisces, where we all were born, most of us, if you were born after 2011, you really shouldn't be here. But before 2011, we were all Age of Pisces, meaning that a lot of us grew up noticing our elders operating like their belief system was the only truth. That is disorienting. That's why the elders are all fucked up. They refuse to break the illusion in their own mind. They have a lie in their mind and they can't break it. They're scared to hit that panic button. And a lot of the younger people are not only not scared to break the illusion, they're willing to build a new reality on Earth and within the cloud digitally, which means they are a threat. Think about the elders and how quiet they are. They were beaten. They're not naturally quiet like that. I'm just hoping that folks can hear, like some of the elders, what up, Michaela, that a lot of the elders are traumatized. They're not just mean elders. They've been hurt. And they also are afraid. And they're also a lot of times scared of their queerness and their neurodivergence. It's a lot of elders that have a lot of layers to who they are and identities that they hold, but they're terrified. Some of them are right now. There are some elders right now that think that they're demons because they're gay and they've been gay this whole time. That's why the marriage is not working out. Some of these elders is begging Jesus to cleanse them of a gay demon. I swear to God. I pray y'all know. Keep your minds open. That's the only way to survive. The only way to survive right now is to stay curious. Do not operate like you know. Operate like, pretend you're new here. Pretend you're brand new here. Because, baby, we kind of are. Like, honestly. Like, I feel like shit has not been familiar for a while. So just consider you're new here and so is everyone else. What questions would you ask somebody if you was brand new somewhere? What questions would you ask if you assumed they was brand new too? What questions would you ask? And that's how I'm trying to operate moving forward. And so I'm glad that people felt comfortable to leave comments on that last video. I know I have the tendency at times to go back and forth with people because I did in the past want to be right. At this point, I think I'm more interested in communication, which is great. Queen, kind of loosely, but I'm about to get up out of here, and it's a quick one too. It's an hour, and the bitch was mostly on point too. Honestly, like I feel like if I do say so myself, I feel like I stayed on topic for the most part. But again, moving on. Queen on the Rise, thank you for being here. Thank everybody for being here. I hope folks check out the Olay and Friends. We watched it in the Discord. I know we didn't finish it, but bitch, I fell asleep. Me and Marie fell asleep. It was low-key giving like sleepover vibes, but also binaural beats. Bitch, just the way I was out, bitch. I thought my internet fucking went out and no, bitch, I fell the fuck asleep. So anyways, with that being said, when am I coming back? Honestly, I'm trying to just get a little stuff done, bitch. You know, my house is housing, bitch. I feel like that's why I ain't been here, bitch. I've been trying to slowly but surely clean up and just get my life together because Lois the Key is like, you know, trigger warning for just feeling terrible emotionally. Like, I just feel like I just had like a really weird night. Like, before I linked up with everybody, like, I was just feeling like real low, you know, like look, he wanted to call somebody, you feel me, he wanted to call that hotline friend, and I was trying my best to like push through, and I'm grateful that I had like a social gathering last night to go to, because honestly, like, yesterday was real rough. Yesterday was fucking wild. But again, after I got to hang out with everybody and after I slept and just took care of myself, I started feeling I don't want to say I feel better. That's not the truth. But I feel like I want to take mushrooms, like a big dose, just to see, because I just feel so... You ever just feel like you've been swimming for a long time and you know that there's a shore. But it's just so hard to see it. And so there's moments where you want to give up. There's moments where, and I just feel like I'm at that point where I'm having to like remind myself, like, we're swimming for a reason. You know, I'm having to remind myself that the shore exists. because the swimming is just, it's not even, I'm not even tired of swimming. I'm just trying to think about what the fuck is on the shore, you know? And it's like what, I don't know. I hate how like the beginning of something can feel so scary and so just like the end of something. And just that fear you have of like things being new, things being different, things being more intimate, like having a new layer of intimacy. Like it was just very much like, dang. It's hard, y'all. It's definitely hard, but I'm really hoping that I can do some drugs about it. That's really where I'm at. Poopy, I'm glad to see you, bitch. We're in the home stretch of the Leo Mercury retrograde, and as some of y'all may or may not know, Leo very outgoing. Leo very much loves the stage, loves to be perceived. But the thing about Leo, the sun, the lion, you know, they need they need to be felt. You know, they need to be felt more than seen. And I think about how, like, as much as Leos like perform and dazzle and at times seem like they're spectacleizing, they do, you know, need gratification and affirmation just like everybody else. And so I think because they can be so extroverted, people can maybe want to deny them that at times. People may want to like take that back from them. And so I think about how Leo in retrograde is about how we're feeling. Like you can say so much, but what does it feel when you hear it? What do you feel in your body when that's like being offered to you? It just feels like we might need more love than we have. And I think that that's a fear of some of ours, that we're not getting enough, we're not getting the right kind, and just again the amount of love it's taking to survive. Like I remember reading like you need 8 hugs a day to be good, like to be okay. You need 8 hugs. And I think about how some of us don't have partners we can just roll over and hug. We don't have people that just kiss us and like just give us like that physical affirmation. And then I also think about how that might not be enough. That like even getting those hugs, that's still not enough. And I think about how, like, you know, again, the Mercury retrograde. Good morning, I hope you're doing well, and I'm glad you caught it too. Ren, I love you, I hope I see you soon. But again, what the Leo retrograde is really trying to remind us is, how is this shit all making you feel? Like shit might look really cute, but like how you feeling though? Like how's your heart? How's your head? How's your body? And again, because Leo is sun, the head, the face, in retrograde, a lot of teeth issues right now. If anybody got tooth stuff going on right now, bitch, you're not alone. Mental health issues right now. Again, it's a retrograde in the mind, in the like a sign that loves to perform. Fire. Like I want you to think about fire going inward. Think about how devastating that could be. Imagine if the sun was moving backwards, how different our life would be. If instead of it rising, we were just always waiting for the sunset, you know? What would that mean? What would sunsets mean? Like, would they mean more if that was the beginning of the day? I don't know. I know I'm not making sense to somebody, but it's more about the idea of ego being checked in the most loud way. Because, again, Leo is naturally loud, naturally yes, like they're the strength card, you know? Oh my God. You used to be able to swipe and cancel a call. Now they want me to hit the decline. Like that feels so aggressive. And see, that's the thing too. That's the thing too. Like those questions are important, poop. They're important questions, but at the same time, just consider that like you're not supposed to get it all right now, and you're never gonna get it all. There's still so many things that come in pieces and lessons, and random quotes on fucking Instagram. Like, there's so many little ways that we get information flown to us and offered to us and shared with us. And I'm just grateful that we even get it. But I'm really hoping that folks consider that, like, the Leo Mercury retrograde is about some things coming out that you can't unhear. Okay? There's going to be some things said in this time that are not able to just be swept under the rug. There are going to be some conversations that must be had. And again, I know that I know people are spinning the block. I also want to say Jupiter's in Cancer. And Jupiter being in Cancer, as someone who has Jupiter in Cancer, it's great in ways, but it can be very overwhelming emotionally. Like, I really hope people hold that, like, the way I be crying and struck, yeah, bitch, because I feel a lot of stuff. And I feel like that's the thing about Jupiter and Cancer as a placement. It's feeling, it's Jupiter is expanse. Jupiter is widening. And Cancer is also deepening. So we're going wide and deep, bitch, which is overwhelming. A lot of superficial connections not gonna make it. People that you can't break down in front of, people that can't hold that you're a full person and not just, again, like, the ways that our fullness is going to come out is going to be messy. The ways we assert our boundaries are not going to be comfortable for everyone. People are going to realize that you're not people pleasing anymore, that you're saying it directly and you're not willing to, not willing to just take anything anymore. I think some people are really coming out and letting us know, like, this is not going to work. And they're setting that boundary firmly. But again, with the Jupiter in Cancer, we're going to be poring over those decisions internally for a while. We're going to constantly feel like there are more people to meet, more connections to connect with, and that could be overwhelming as well. Like, I've had thoughts about future connections, how I want to treat people. Like, those things are important and they can also be overwhelming. Some people might also be thinking that because they're thinking more about the future and love and connection coming in, that means someone's coming towards them. And really, maybe you're moving towards people. I just want us to consider the ways that, like, we're not performing, the ways that, like, we're doing things because we want to do them, not because we want other people to see it, but because we want people to feel it. Or think about how people are saying things that are making you feel something that you don't want to feel anymore. Or saying things that you are loving to feel. Like, some people say things to us and we love how we feel. It's so important to acknowledge that as well, because as much as we're going to be setting boundaries verbally, we also should be celebrating to balance the shit out. Because it's going to feel like you're blocking more and more people. Like, the amount of people that are about to pop up on you is going to seem insane. You're going to feel like something must have happened. The stars, yeah, Jupiter and Cancer for the rest of the year, bitch. And before I go, I'm going to tell you a messy story that would only happen during a fucking Mercury motherfucking retrograde in Leo. A random man messaged me talking about he seen me on Facebook dating and that's why he added me. And I was like, sir, I'm not on Facebook dating. I actually don't know you. I'm actually married. And he said, I'm single as fuck. Bitch, that's the energy that's out here. Ain't nobody listening to what the fuck you said. What the fuck did I say? And what do I make it? What, like, it's very much, you'll notice how much somebody's listening to you right now by what they say next kind of energy. Like, they don't care. Like, some people, you're going to realize they do not give a fuck about me. They are just talking at me. I don't even exist. Listen, Jupiter is not playing. And you have a Sag moon, bitch, me too. It's so fun here, bitch. We just be going. We just be like, yeah, bye. No, people are definitely popping back up. Honestly, private all accounts if you can. Because I'm not going to lie, I was being messy yesterday. I really, like, bitch, I know all of this and I still contacted somebody, bitch, being crazy, but I don't care. Well, I do, but at the time, I really didn't give one fuck. And so with that being said, like, people are contacting people about all types of shit. Debts owed, reparations. It's a lot, bitch. So be careful right now. And also, don't get in no relationships until the 11th. Trust me. Just trust me. That's when Mercury goes direct and you're going to know something. Like, by the 11th, you're going to know something. But right now, we're in a fight. Are you listening? That's the fight right now. Are you listening? Or are you just talking? Are you just talking? Are you listening to hear? Or are you listening to respond? Do you hear me when I tell you what's going to work for me or not? But you're also going to hear, oh shit, they don't respect my boundaries. Oh shit, they're not being flexible when I make a request. Oh shit, I'm distressed about something that I've been distressed about for a while and they still don't care, even though I'm bringing it up again. It's very much, what have you been doing a lot of and how do you feel about that? What have people seen? How do you feel? I just want you to consider all these conversations, all the combos you're having between now and the 11th. There are people trying to figure out, do you really listen to me? Do you really care that I'm hurt? Do you really care that I told you the truth? Do you really care that I know you're lying? Do you really care that I asked for help and you weren't there? And people are unfortunately not willing to sugarcoat right now. That retrograde in Leo is going to make it come out just how the fuck it's supposed to sound. Cold or warm, full of life and possibility and opportunity, or dead. Listen, I appreciate all y'all for listening. I feel like one of the people that I listen to a lot is Queen Amun Ra. She's a black tarot card reader and she does a lot of daily horoscope readings. And I always love sending her readings to my friends because she's so uplifting, but she's also very direct. And so I love the way she connects. Also, another black woman that I appreciate who does tarot is People's Oracle. She makes a lot of content about a lot of things. I feel like if I were to compare her to anyone, I would compare her to like a very southern Jaguar Wright. And I don't know where Jaguar Wright is from. I'm not trying to play with her, but I just feel like People's Oracle is from New Orleans and is very much a witch and is very much not playing. And so if you want something more mystical, divine, Queen Amun Ra, and it's Queen AMUN and then space RA. And then People's Oracle is just People's Oracle. And People's Oracle is on Instagram. Queen Amun Ra is on here. And they both offer so much in terms of tarot and like what's going on. I know I'd be shouting out Shani, but I feel like Shani is how I got to the degree shit. And so if you have your birth chart, I feel like I'm trying to like be like a mindful person. I feel like I'm down to do trades for birth chart readings. I know that there's some people that are, are interested, have sent me their birth chart. We talked before. If you want more depth on your degrees, I'm definitely down to give them to you. I just feel like I'm trying to get into like my spiritual work bag, but I'm trying to be like a barter sliding scale girl because I just feel like, again, I know it can be a lot to get your own cards and start learning. I hope you do though. As someone who has a deck that I love so much, I am thinking about making my own cards, not to sell, but just as an art project, something that will be fun for me. And so I feel like I'm gonna take y'all on that journey with me. I'm gonna actually like try to design the cards like by hand and just go from there. And my plan is not to use them really, but it is just to learn more, like give myself an activity that's also gonna help me learn. Behavior is a language as well. I appreciate you for saying that, Poop. Thank you for being here for real. I appreciate all of you. And Michaela, thank you so much for all of the sharing and all of the kindness. I just appreciate all of y'all. Just please know, I don't know shit. I be hearing a lot. I share a lot. Some stuff may be misinformation. Some stuff may not be appreciated. That's valid. Like, I just want y'all to just be comfortable with holding that. Some shit is not for you. Some shit you don't care about. And that's actually not a failure on anyone's part. I think that we have to just get more neutral about the fact that like some of us are not going to appreciate every message, and that's okay. I think that some people are scared of tarot, scared of spirituality, but I want y'all to know that magic has always been here. Obviously, like think about the earth. Think about how magic it is that everything that we like, think about all the natural magic things we see. It's got to be magic. And so again, it's the way that I know some people are afraid, but I hope most of you know that like your ancestors weren't. And that's why like it's so important to tap back into magic, look into what people are doing, see what is out there. And I'm not saying to colonize the magic. What I'm trying to offer is do some research, see what people are up to. There's so many ways to be engaging in magical practice that aren't involved, that aren't investments in colonization. You don't have to pay a lot of money. There's a lot of natural spells you can do. Just please consider like all that's available to you, because some of y'all are witches, some of y'all are dreamers, some of y'all get visions. There are so many of you with so many gifts, and again, it's the way that chattel slavery has really stolen so many people from access to knowing where their people magic is at, or what is culturally significant to their magic. And so putting that out there, that there's so many of us who have so much to learn, so many people to consider when it comes to how we got here and what we think, what we know. Like, I know the Southern girlie is very invested in hoodoo and voodoo, and I also know the Caribbean girls and the girls that are invested in like Valukan, the girls invested in Ifa, or Ife. I'm not sure how to say it. If anyone wants to help correct me, I would appreciate that. But again, I'm not trying to offer that I be doing any kind of spirituality connected to anybody in particular. I feel like a lot of the things that I invested are like numerology. I'm a big numerologist. I love learning more about African deities. I don't work with them. I leave them be. But I do consider the ways that the earth is here for me. I feel like I do. I feel like for me, I feel like when I think about magic, I feel like I talk to my ancestors and ask them for things. I send them offerings. I feel like most of my magic is just more about ancestral veneration. Nima, I'm glad. I'm glad this space offered you a time to like just, I'm glad you fuck with plants. Plants are such magic, are they not? There's so much magic in plants, and I'm just so grateful. And you're right, Marie. You're right. You're right. You're right. And that's part of colonization, is to steal all the magical things. It's to steal all the magic in people by making them think it doesn't exist. There's just so many layers to like what people don't want us to connect with. And when I say people, it's whiteness. And again, if I can leave on the point that I came in with, whiteness is behavior. Yes, looking at somebody and acknowledging their whiteness is also part of whiteness. That is part of it, true, but it's not the only part. And I want us to hold that, because I fear that some people may be thinking that just in the same vein that all white people are X, Y, or Z. And I'm not going to fill in the blanks for you, because we all have our different ways of saying things about them. But what I'll say is, there are people out there who assume that like seeing a black person is automatically a good thing, when we don't know what's happening sometimes, a lot of times, why anyone is anywhere. I'm not trying to say that white supremacy does not offer us ways to look at people and quickly appraise what's happening. It definitely does. But I want us to hold that just like some of you are dismantling and may end up with a partner that is, not privileged in the way that you are, that's a moment for you as the partner to be connecting with them about that and deepening. But I think outside people who are looking, like, they can have all the conversation they want, but that doesn't change what's happening. And I think that because Laverne was in the room, it made it seem as if like that was available to us, our critiques on her dating. And I just think that that's violent as fuck. And I feel like, I know people don't care what I think a lot of times, but I feel like it must be said that nobody black is here to do anything for anyone in particular. And to assume that somebody black equals someone that must be operating in a particular way, I think that's losing the plot. But again, it's the ways that I fear some people think what makes sense is to be punishing that black person for not doing excuse me, what someone assumed they should do, versus there being an open conversation. But I feel like even getting to an open convo, what are the stakes? And so again, I'm hoping that people know, like, I don't sit up here thinking like I'm dating white men and I have like any bird's eye view of anything. Like, I don't think I've dated all white men. That'd be insane. But I do think that I have some ways of noticing white people operate. But is that all of them? No. They all have white privilege. Absolutely. They can all weaponize that against me. True. But I also have to hold that like there are experiences that some of us are having that we don't talk about because we're afraid of saying that somebody white treated us good. And now that's going to change what people think we're saying. And it's awkward because, again, the white individual can be treating us good and still be causing harm. I think that's always possible. I don't think it has to be a white MAGA cop. And I think that that's like where I think some people get more uncomfortable, that like there is no good white person. Every white person I dated was a white supremacist who needed to be unlearning. All of us light skinned people, we're all colorist and we need to be unlearning. That doesn't change regardless of who we're dating. And so again, the ways in which I've shared before that like I had all types of ways of viewing black men through the gaze of like noticing my father not be there for me and not be a man that I would want anyone to have to deal with in their fucking life. And again, it's the ways that I'm holding black men to a certain standard because of what I've seen. I've seen the standards be low. And so again, I think that even being worried to say that is a problem because again, it's the ways that some of us are doing things because we're aware of harm unfolding, but we're unwilling to hold that that harm is also part of experience. And so again, I'm not saying date white people. I'm not saying date any people. Honestly, being single is probably the most lit thing that you could do right now. Focus on yourself, bitch. Get a friend group. Get a friend Netflix account. I know a bunch of people sharing Netflixes, sharing all types of stuff. And Queen, that's the thing too. It's like revealing that. Like, did that feel good to reveal? I'm hoping so. Because again, it's the ways that like if you're in an environment where people aren't automatically looking at you crazy for being honest, then you might say more stuff. And that's where I'm at in my unlearning. That I want to be in moments with black folk where like they can be as candid as fucking possible because I'm not trying to critique or look down on them for not thinking how I do. That's not fun. That's so boring. If we all thought the same, yuck. But again, we all have different ideas. And before I go, I'm gonna share a little goofy idea with you, a goofy story, just so you know how people's brains all work very different. When I was little, I used to see the Hooked on Phonics commercial, and it would say dial 1-800-ABCDEFG. And I swear to God, I used to call the fucking number. I used to hit 1-800 and I, for some reason, didn't realize that like the numbers have letters. And I would just try to say very quickly, ABCDEFG. Obviously, the call never went fucking through. I did that more than one fucking time in my life. Again, I just want to acknowledge, like, we're not gonna all think the same, are we? Some of y'all knew that the numbers had letters on them. I fucking didn't. My mom told me never to touch the phone. Some of y'all got to touch the phone. We're all having such different experiences, aren't we? I hope we learn that we can share them, and that also no one really still knows us, even though we went through something or experienced something. That who I am isn't that one moment. Again, it's hard to hold nuance, but I know that some people are tired of holding that nuance for so many other people and are tired. So I get it. You thought olives were pickled grapes until you were a teen? Ah! Again, it's the things that we think that, like, like, do you share these things? Aren't they so silly? But I think, it illustrates that not all of us are paying attention to certain things. Not all of us have access to certain things. Not all of us are being invited to have new opportunities. Like, I think about, like, if I was a parent, like, how I would address my child talking on a phone. We don't have house phones anymore, really, right? And so I think that because of that, it's a different combo now. But back in the day, like, my mom was scared because bitch, she was being abusive. That's why I didn't have access to the phone. But again, it's the way that some of us, when we look back at certain experiences or why we couldn't do certain things, it's not because we were bad. It's not because we weren't good enough. It's not because we didn't show that we had that skill. Some of us were in the hands of some people that just really shouldn't have had access to us. And it took a long time to realize that. So with that being said, I really hope some people know that we don't all know the same thing. There's not one black story. You as a black person have many, many, many stories to share. And I hope that we are able to hold that there are black people who are going to date white people. And that's not a personal failure. And instead of assuming that we're defending whiteness, I think we're more so defending that we have autonomy to do what we like. And if we like this white person and this white person is treating us the way we want to be treated, then that's that. And obviously, there's going to be moments where a white person ain't doing that. I pray we leave. But I pray we hold that, like, you're not failing if you don't have your black partner. If someone black isn't dating you or isn't looking for you, or if you have a friendship with someone who is black and you're not willing to cross those boundaries, you're not a bad person. Like, I just want us to hold that, like, sure, we can all, I just feel like we spend so much time talking about internalized, like, anti-blackness that we don't take a moment to consider that, like, why I'm dating this white person isn't like fueled by anti-blackness. But some people will not be able to hold that, and so I'm going to hold that as well. That some people think any desiring for a white person is automatically X, Y, or Z. I know that you're insert some fucked up thing to say about someone who fucks white people. And again, it's the way that I know that there are times where we have laughed at black men being with white women. But I want us to remember the context. A lot of times it's like, oh, this black man played me and now he's with Becky. And, you know, he's playing on the internet like he is, you know, he loves black people so much. But in his private times, he's actually making weird comments and actually operating as if white people are better. I think that that's an important thing to consider. It's like that people spare black men like the embarrassment and the shame of some of their behavior because people are embarrassed for them and will not open up their fucking mouth. And I'm not mad at you for not opening up your fucking mouth. I'm just saying, when I said open up your fucking mouth, I feel like I like to say fucking. I wasn't trying to be aggressive. I was more so just saying, like, when can you say this? Again, I'm trying to remember that, like, there's not going to always be a space to say everything, but there are going to be moments where we're saying things that are very uncomfortable and may make some people feel like they have to defend black men. And it's awkward because, again, in everything that I'm sharing with you, I'm never saying all black men, oh, this is no. But I'm trying to offer that there are some black folks out there who have had so many experiences. And I have to hold that as I listen, I notice that there's such a desire for some black men to operate like the colonizer. And yet, people will look at black women and people who have black ancestry that are not black men and be wondering why we're not with a black man. And again, it's the ways that I feel like I've shared this one date that I went on with this black man who kept on noticing every single black person doing any fucking thing. And it was crazy to me because, like, it came down to, like, this black woman just on her phone minding her business. And he's like, ugh, my people. It's the way that, like, he had so many things to say about all different types of black people. He had so many anti-black sentiments. And I kept saying to him, you know, it could be internalized anti-blackness. And at some point, he was sitting with it. But it's the way that, like, if I'm being mad real with you, I'm not trying to make it seem like these white people I be dating don't be annoying at times, but they're not doing the things. They're not. Excuse me. The harm I'm sustaining in ways from black men is not the same. And again, it's the way that if a white man hits me up, 9 times out of 10, he's gonna follow through with the date. I've had black men stand me up many times. Stand me up and then bother me like I'm weird for not wanting to hang out with them. And it's like, you stood me up. That means you don't like me that much. Let's move on. And now they're fighting me. Now they're low-key stalking me because I don't want to deal with them. Like, they literally tried to break my spirit and I didn't allow it. Now I got a stalker who's mad in Colorado forever. Like, that's crazy. I'm not saying white men don't get stalkerish. I'm not saying that. But my experiences are black men operating like I owe them a relationship. And again, it's the way people have said to me, oh, but you were with a white man. as like an insult. And it's like, I was in love with a white man. True. I don't feel shame about that, but I know some people do. I know some people will never be comfortable dating a white person because they know that some people will look at them like they're bad. And again, I'm just hoping that people know that, like, I don't share these stories with black or white men or any man to be divisive. I think that you can date anyone you want, but let's not lie. That's all I ask. Let's not lie about what black women are experiencing and saying and telling us. That's all I want. Let's not lie. Bye.